Getting started with Microsoft Access is very much like getting started with Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel or Microsoft PowerPoint. All of the programs in the Microsoft Office suite operate basically the same way. You click to start the program, and then you're brought to a window similar to this where you can select a template that you can use to begin to build a database, or you're given the option to select a blank database. And over to the left in the navigation pane, we will see a list of databases that have recently been opened, or maybe other files that have been recently accessed. To begin this introduction to Microsoft Access, let's just scroll and find the database template that is named Students. Look for Students and click it. You're brought to a window that explains what the template is about. You're given the opportunity here to change the name of the database. You can also click on the folder icon here to change the location of where this database will be saved on your computer. I'm just going to accept the default name and the default location for now and go ahead and click on Create. This causes that database to be installed on your computer, and in some of the templates you'll have a welcoming screen like this. You'll want to read what it shows. It tells you where you can get help with using this template. Often you'll find a video that you can click on that will show you how to actually use the database. If you don't want this welcome screen to show every time, you can click here on the check mark where it says show welcome when this database is opened. I will uncheck that so we won't see this every time. Click Get Started. And also up at the top, first time you open a database, you'll get the security warning that is telling you that you need to be sure that you know where you got that file to open and that it was a safe place to get files. You certainly don't want to download something to your computer that's going to bring you a virus or cause you problems. Now, one reason I wanted you to use the Students database is because this really is organized in a very simple manner to help you to see all of the different things that are contained within a Microsoft Access database. Come over to the navigation pane, and what we see here are a list of tables. And below that, we see a list of queries. Query is simply the database term for finding stuff in the database. And so these are little searches that have been created and saved, and they're called queries. There's also forms, and there are reports. Those are the four big features. And by the way, there's just four. So tables, queries, forms, and reports. Those are the big four things that you can work with inside of the Microsoft Access database program. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see that there are other things called macros and modules. But in the Microsoft Office certification, you are not asked to know how to build or edit macros or modules, either one. All you need to worry with right now are tables, queries, forms, and reports. If you come up to the ribbon and click on the Create tab, here you'll see that there are options here for tables and queries and forms and reports. And then here again are the macros and modules that are really more advanced features. But tables, queries, forms, and reports. Those four, that's really all that you're going to be working with as you build these databases. We can also click on the tab for external data, and this is where we'll come to bring data into our database from things like an Excel spreadsheet. We also have database tools. And notice there's really not very many features on any of these other tabs. So compared to the ribbon, for instance, on Microsoft Excel, the ribbon in Microsoft Access is really quite small. We also have here in Access the File tab, which is, as you know, called Backstage when working in Word and PowerPoint and Excel. And when you click on Backstage, that brings you to the Info page, where that you can create and edit the document properties. And there's some options here for compacting and repairing a database or encrypting the database with a password. The new option is where we were earlier, that allows you to select templates or to search for templates. We have the open option, which allows us to search for databases that we've already created. If we click Save, that simply saves the database, but we could also click on Save As and see that we have options here for saving the database with a new name or saving some object within the database, like if we created a report and wanted that report to be saved as something like a PDF file, we might come here. There's also the option here for closing the database. We won't click on that just now. The account, feedback, and then come down to options. And here we have the access options that looks very much and works exactly the same way that the Word options or Excel options or PowerPoint options, dialog boxes work in those programs. The options that we see here in the left pane are a little different, except for down here we have the same Customize Ribbon option that you saw in Word, the same Quick Access Toolbar option that you've seen in the other programs. The add-ins and Trust Center all operate exactly the same here as they do in Word and Excel and PowerPoint. There are special features here like options that you have for this current database. There are special options that you have for the data sheet itself, and we'll talk about those when we begin creating databases. Object designers, proofing, language, and client settings. These are all tools that you'll learn to use as you begin building your Access databases.